guys, welcome back to the Big Talk with Austin. This is a podcast I have not done in a long time. It's been I believe almost a year. Every time I before record, before this goes up, I've done a update talking about how I'm bringing this back. This is going to be a completely different sort of type of podcast. We're still going to do like the news talk and all that, but this is going to be a monthly episode. So no more weekly episodes. I certainly don't have the time. Carson, who's been on the podcast before, he's now the co-host.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, and we're very busy people. So as much as I would like to do it weekly, it's just maybe it'll change in the future. Who knows? But at the moment, we're just gonna do monthly, and you know what? That's fine. I'm already trying it's trying to stay up on top of the news stuff is already a lot as it is. And so it's going to come down to we're going to pick topics that we really want to talk about and just give our opinions. We'll try to go as deep into like the articles as much as we can, but it's mostly just going to be our opinions. So I don't know. It's going to be, and it's going to be a longer podcast, basically a longer episode. So, and at this moment, I'm hoping that we can still upload this on Spotify and Apple. So if you guys are listening on there, welcome.
Hello.
But yeah, so we have 12 12 topics for this episode, which are I was like, let's just limit to ourselves to like 10, maybe 8 or something. And every time a new story comes up, I'm like, oh great, no, we actually need to talk about this. Let's just add it to it, and just kept going. And it's like, all right, we got to stop after that because we would be here like for like 3 hours if we wanted to talk about literally every single topic. But so one of the big, not really necessarily big ones that happened is Steamboat Willie is now public domain. Anyone can use it for any and be fine with it. No copyrights or anything like that. Which I don't know. They're not really doing a great start by using it because there's a horror film coming out now
Oh, it's
with
gonna
it.
be great.
It's
You already know it's gonna be
literally the
good.
same day when it was announced that Steamboat Willie was like free to use. They immediately dropped that trailer. I'm like, they knew that was about to happen. They were waiting for that. But
They needed it. They needed a sequel to the Winnie the Pooh evil bear thing.
which that is getting a sequel too.
Oh,
That
it
is,
is?
yeah,
Oh, even better.
it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
The problem is though, it's directed by the guy that did the Mean One, that terrible Grinch horror film. I don't know who said like, yes, give that guy money.
Uh, Tax write-off.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
I don't.
They thought, hey, who can we pick to make a decently movie and hopefully trick a bunch of people that like the nostalgia of Steamboat Willie. Boom, right there.
Did you see the trailer for this movie? I think I sent it
Uh,
to you.
yeah, you did, and I watched it, and I'm pretty sure I laughed more than I thought it was scary. The one
Uh,
thing that really irks me about the whole thing is his like facial structure. I don't know.
it's a
Let me see.
mask. It's literally just a guy in a mask. That's all it
That's
is.
what that's what I mean. We're gonna have to bring up. We're gonna have to post a picture. You're gonna have to post a picture here because you look at it and there. One second, I'm pulling it up because I thought it was so funny. I was laughing. Okay, so it's a guy in a mask, and I don't know. I don't know just how interesting. Here, let me see if I can put this one. Like, wow, that is
That's,
really scary.
yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
bad.
I looked at it and I was like, it looks like it's trying to be Scream,
Yeah,
but with a Mickey Mouse
they
Steamboat
they
Willie
they
mask.
couldn't do something creative where it's like a radioactive
Like
mouse.
a mouse.
Yeah,
See, that would be interesting because then we're talking about a perspective from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meets evil Steamboat Willie, and I don't know. It's just really unfortunate because I, public domain isn't a bad thing, right? So something becoming eligible to be used by other companies could be great.
yeah.
But when the first thing, I think this is the first thing that I saw at least, maybe you've seen others, but when this is the first thing that pops up after um, I almost said eminent domain, my goodness, public domain, you think they could have selected something better
Yeah.
or done a better job. So I don't know. That's
Like,
just my opinion.
well, that's another thing. It's like, what do like not a lot of people know that, like, okay, when they see like, oh, Mickey Mouse is public domain, and no, it's only Steamboat Willie, so you can only use Steamboat Willie, like the original look of Mickey Mouse, in anything without being copyrighted. And it doesn't mean you can also take that original look, well, like, you can take that original look and you can change it up as much as you want. But if you try to make it look like the modern day Mickey, then there's an issue. And I think a lot of people are going to misunderstand
And
that.
and here's the thing, I for something like Mickey Mouse, I feel like there's more of a like people attribute that to childhood or watching, TV shows. So I feel like that would be a little bit more offensive if that makes sense. Whereas this is like Steamboat Willie, yes, nostalgia, everything, but everybody looks and sees modern day Mickey.
Yeah.
So I found it interesting. I'm not a huge fan with what they did with it. I think it was definitely a definite miss. I mean, could it have been good? Sure. I mean, for all I know, we could really be
We're
surprised.
gonna go see it anyways. We're planning on trying to see it. There's no release date yet. It comes out in March, from my understanding. Uh,
March, man, I didn't. Well, it makes sense. They've been working on it, and then now they're
yeah.
going to release it
They filmed it in
January
one
1st.
they filmed it in 1 week. That's how fast they got it done. And
At this point, it's like those Hallmark movies. You just, copy, Control C,
it's
Control V,
yeah,
and
it's
then
like
they
Five Nights at
film it in
Freddy's.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be interesting. I mean, people are gonna do some creative stuff with the IP, and you can make it your own thing. You can literally, like, like, oh, we have Steamboat Willie and he's a drug dealer. Like, there you go, copyright that. I don't
oh my
know.
goodness.
Yeah, like
They're going to put him in the Equalizer.
yeah,
Just Denzel
like,
Washington's going to have a teammate. Just
yeah, you can
so,
you do, Liam Neeson Steamboat Willie. I don't know, like, like, as long as
Steamboat
you're,
Willie in Fortnite.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, Disney might get mad about that since Disney technically owns Fortnite at this point with how much skins they put in there. Um,
It's not a bad idea. For all they know, they could put it in there.
yeah,
But no, they definitely swung and missed on that one. And it's sad because the potential is there. The
yeah,
idea of taking like a child's, something and then making it evil. Basically like Annabelle. Only Annabelle was always basically evil.
yeah,
So
and terrible movie.
it was
The second one's pretty
decently
good, but we'll
eh.
talk more about Annabelle later on a certain topic. But yeah, so that's Willie. Let us know in the comment section below what your guys' thoughts on that is. We got a bunch of other topics that we want to talk about. Do you want to mention the second one if you have them pulled
Yeah.
up?
This one I'm very excited for. Top Gun 3. I think the next two go together. The next topics that we're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about Teen. Oh my goodness, My goodness, Tom Cruise and his move to Warner Brothers, as well as Top Gun 3. But I'm excited. People always go, "Oh, another sequel, another sequel." When the sequels that are being made end up being really good,
Mm.
that's great. This is good. There's nothing wrong
I'm
with making a trilogy.
No, there isn't anything wrong with it. The problem is I have with it, it's like Top Gun 2, Top Gun Maverick, one of my favorite movies of all time, especially top number one movie of 2022. It's a really good
Mhm.
film. It wraps things up pretty nicely. So
Yeah,
it comes back to the question of, like, what are they going to do and what is going to bring people to the seats? What bring people to the seats for the second one were the crazy stunts, because it's not something that we've seen in cinema before. It's not, and it's been 20 or 40 years, I think, between that one and this first one. So they waited where technology was capability of doing that. So now it's like, what's what interesting stunts are they going to do with the third one, and what's the story? So it's not like I don't know, maybe Tom Cruise has the power to let the government let him do whatever he wants and take a jet and fly between buildings or in a city. I don't know, maybe. Uh, so
so
that's kind of like the question I have for you. What do you expect them to do for the third one?
good question. So obviously, the first two are centered around this idea of the top of the top flight school, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I look at it from a perspective of, okay, Tom Cruise isn't getting younger. Obviously, he still loves to do his stunts, do all these things, etc. So I think the dude's going to be doing stunts until he's 100, honestly.
Yeah.
But you have two really good characters in Glenn Powell and Miles Teller, and so those two, I almost think, carry the mantle of, okay, if Tom Cruise doesn't want to be, the direct star leading it the whole time because he's getting a little bit older, how can he pass off the torch, or you know, pass the torch to these two characters? Because both were very well written. Um, what would be interesting, and I don't, I'm not a producer or film director by any means, but what would be very interesting is if they took a perspective of taking maybe war-torn United States, and
Mm.
now it's active combat with all of these pilots. So maybe it's a flashback to what happened at the end, and there's a retaliation from the unnamed country that they attacked in the
Which is
second
mostly like
movie.
Russia. It's definitely
It-
like,
yeah, they like inferred China, and then they inferred Russia, but then you really don't know. So
yeah.
part of me thinks, I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but I don't remember them referring to an existent place.
It's like in Call of Duty nowadays. They're just called the enemy. Like
Yeah.
you can't have like a certain name country or people will get mad. And so
Well, and that's the thing is, like, obviously in like Call of Duty 2, long time ago, you had like the mission No Russian, which was like,
there was
my
Nazis
goodness,
in
we're
Call of
gonna,
Duty. We had Nazis.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that was history. So to actively pick an enemy that, projects, I guess you could do like North Korea. Maybe it was North Korea. But
Uh
the whole point of the
yeah.
movie is they could do a really good job of making it active conflict. And
Mm.
now we're following these characters through these harrowing journeys of like numerous flights. So instead of training, they've done the training in the first two,
Yeah, they
or at
don't need to do
least
that
like,
again.
yeah. And so now we're in active conflict, and we have these three characters, and we're following their journey through the different places. They definitely have potential for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tom Cruise would necessarily want to do that, because that's not usually how his movies are. Even when you think of like
Mission
his
Impossible or
Mission Impossible movies, they're they're very lighthearted, still a little funny. You have grief, you have like the sadness, but it's not like full blown war
yeah.
torn, everything's blowing up. It's not his style. So, but who knows? I
I
don't know.
mean,
Tom Cruise, he surprises.
yeah,
So,
like again, like it also comes down to the stunts. Like, what stunts do we expect in Top Gun 3 that outshine? Because Top Gun 2 obviously outshined the stunts in the first one. It outshined the story and all that. So, like, what's going to be the reasoning for people to come back for?
I, it's got to be something that's more. It's got to want us wanting more. The
Yeah,
second one got us in from nostalgia of just how great the first movie was. Some people, I was weird.
it's
I heard some people
okay.
are like,
I
the
don't.
first one's okay, the
Yeah,
second one's amazing. But I mean, when you think about when it came out, and how young Tom Cruise was, I mean, that was
that's
the
like,
movie,
yeah,
or like a movie, right? And then you think of like A Few Good Men, like those types of movies. So all I know is that Mission Impossible, the later ones got better than the first few. Top
yeah.
Gun, the second one, I would say is arguably just as good as the first, if not maybe a little bit better. So Tom Cruise is one of the few people that I trust to bring out good stuff.
Yeah, I know for
So
a fact that he's gonna pull some stunt off that will be like like that's the thing I'm trying to think of. Like, what's the stunt that they're gonna promote? Like, hey, this is what you are coming
moon,
back to moon. Yeah,
aliens, he's gonna fight
yeah.
aliens on the moon.
I
Just
mean,
kidding.
we're still waiting for that space movie that he wants to do. Like, he actually wants to go up and film a movie in the International Space Station. Um, so
See,
like
that would be cool. That's so Tom
it
Cruise.
is a
I
Tom
mean,
Cruise thing,
and
and he's working
and
with your ex boss Elon Musk. Um, so
that's too funny. No, I mean, and I think this is what Warner Bros. Sees, and I want to talk a
yeah.
little bit about Warner Bros. because
This
I
leans into the next topic that Tom Cruise sets up. Basically, he's not. It's not like a sport situation where he made a contract where he only can make films with like Warner Bros. So but he is mainly like, hey, this is basically my home now, and I'm going to be making films, a lot of films with them instead of Paramount. Which there's a lot of topics about Paramount going out of business and all that. So
Well, and here's the thing. So I was doing some research, and I want to read this really good quote. Um, so let's see. I forgot who it was, but this is basically what I was looking at. So I'm thinking about stuff like Harry Potter,
mhm.
right? So Harry Potter, whether you love it, hate it, thought it was good to the books, not whatever. We can't deny how incredibly successful Harry Potter was,
Yeah.
right? So I look at it and I see, if I'm not mistaken, Warner Bros. Was responsible for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, it was. It's Studio London Shore. So I think of it like this: they give Tom Cruise, Warner Bros. Gives Tom Cruise creative reign over all these different movies that he gets to make. Right? Awesome, amazing. Universal Studios, in collaboration with Warner Bros. Or however that works, makes theme parks based off of his movies, just like they took the successful Harry Potter. I mean, Warner Bros. Is really pushing the boundary of making of really allowing creativity, but in such a good way that they're making good content. And
Hmm.
so I really like this deal, not only for Tom Cruise, but from the idea of like a consumer.
Yeah.
Because if you go look, Universal has really been really like leaning on their own intellectual property to make parks.
Yeah.
And I
Like they
think
just
this is
opened the
where,
Mario.
yeah, exactly. And they're opening that epic theme park that I think is supposed to be in Orlando in 2025. And if you look at like the rumors and everything that people are talking about, how it's supposed to be like, Dracula and some of the older
Oh.
monsters. You have like the Fantastic Beasts, and I think it's Paris, if I'm
Terrible
not
movies.
mistaken.
Um,
Eh, I mean, for what they are, they're not Harry
First one's
Potter.
good. I like
But
the
I mean,
first one, but
the first one is good, and Jude Law is an excellent actor.
the
But
only best thing.
that's why I'm excited,
Yeah.
is because when you give a really creative person creative reign, the good stuff that comes out of it is great.
Yeah. But it's
I think
also
that's
Tom
why.
Cruise. You can't tell Tom Cruise no, or you're fired. Um,
I mean, Tom
I
Cruise is going
I
to do
would
it even
say,
if Tom
yeah.
Cruise. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I wouldn't want to see that guy's insurance policy.
yeah. Like
That's all I know.
no joke, he actually fired somebody. Like I believe he was filming Mission Impossible 5, the one where he's hanging off the building with the gloves. I forget the name of
Oh, is it
Protocol.
the
That's what it
Burj
was.
Khalifa? Yeah,
Yeah.
Ghost Protocol.
And
Red
he
is
and
dead.
he fired the
Green.
safety guy because the safety guy wouldn't allow him to do a certain stunt.
I mean,
So
that's one way to get what
yeah.
you want done. I didn't see that, but that's not surprising.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Cruise.
But like, this also comes into an interest of like what kind of movies is Tom Cruise gonna make with Warner Bros. And it's like also it's like Tom Cruise is like in his like 60, 65. I think he's around there. Like so, like you said, he isn't getting any younger. It's like, is it like is WB like sort of like too late in the game of with Tom Cruise, or is it like I don't know, like it's like Tom Brady, like when you picked up Tom, like when a certain team picked up Tom Brady, it's like yeah, his time has passed type of deal.
All I know is whatever he comes up with is going to be good.
Yeah.
So uh, it'll be good. I'm excited. So I think, honestly, I think I said what I want about Tom Cruise. I think, whatever he ends up doing or whatever creative reign they do, it's going to be a smart decision for them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
but,
a lot of people are probably gonna be
oh,
like, "Oh, how dare you talk about how dare you praise about Tom Cruise? He's a terrible person." I'm like, "Yeah, his personality. On the other hand, like it's iffy. I mean, like he's with a cult. I understand that part. It's weird. He is, and he has a big ego. Like, but I can allow some of it of his ego because he kind of has earned it with the stuff that he does. But like he does go a little bit too far and like pushing it in people's faces. But people also try to bring up his past, like, where he jumps on the table and he started dancing and all that. It's like, that's whatever. That's 20 years
See,
ago.
if Tom Cruise, I think it's interesting that people have like, beliefs about blah blah. Tom Cruise shouldn't do this and that. I mean, dude can do what he wants, assuming that it's not hurting or harming people. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
think dude
Uh,
makes good movies, so I'm gonna go watch his movies because they're good. That's what I
Yeah,
go to the movies for. Is just
that's
to
why I
watch
go
movies.
based off. I don't know anything about Scientology, so I don't care. Like, it sounds like a cult to me, but it's whatever.
Yeah,
That's his
go
thing.
go Tom. Just
Yeah.
you keep making
Yeah,
movies,
keep
man.
making movies until, but then like leave your personality out of it. Um,
Well, I think he does a good job of that. I think
yeah,
he plays a very particular character, but he plays it very well.
yeah.
So,
Um,
which by the way, I am very excited for this next topic.
oh,
So
great.
I cannot wait. All
Did,
right, bring it up. Let's hear it.
so Furious X was a massive flop, not as big flop as like, Fast Nine,
Is
but
this
it's
the
a
one they went to the moon? I can never
Fast
remember
Nine.
which one's which.
They went to space. Fast Nine they did,
Uh,
but Fast
uh,
X it brought it back down to more grounded, air quote grounded, and had Jason Momoa in it. And he was the best thing about that film was Jason Momoa made that movie
which is
fun.
weird
Yeah, and
because yeah, yeah. Mhm.
like like the movie needed some fun to it, and Jason Momoa brought that funness to it. And Jason Momoa is a very what's charisma. He's a very charisma type of guy.
Charismatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got lots of charisma. He's charismatic. Um, Dude's bulky. I mean, I'm surprised dude wasn't like picking up cars and
Yeah.
just throwing them like the
My
Hulk.
favorite scene was just him, like, he like where he threw his arms out, like after like he found John Cena, and like he just made that movie funny. And so when I
But the
saw this,
problem is was it supposed to be funny?
I don't know. I think that it was. I mean, like everyone kept talking about him, and I've heard rumors that Vin Diesel was actually upset that everyone was talking about Jason Momoa and not him. And so it's like I don't
It's
like
okay, Vin.
yeah, I don't really like Vin Diesel that much, to be honest. Like as a person, I don't like him. Um,
I don't know anything about him, but what I do know
is
is
his
he
movies.
loves family.
Yeah.
So he's
So
good in my book. Go Vin.
yeah. Like so when I was reading this article, like the title at least was like, okay, so Fast 12 is not happening. Fast 11 is going to be the final film in the franchise, air quote
Oh,
final. Um,
oh.
and it's going to have half the budget of Fast X because Fast X had a massive budget. Like that
Do
was like a
we know how much? Did we look at the box office numbers? I didn't get to look
I
at.
think it made I like the box office numbers for Fast X made like $500 million at least,
Okay.
or 700 around there.
See, but at what point? Okay, let's see.
I'll look it up.
Fast, because it's
But
Fast 10 or is it Fast X?
it's Fast
Because
X.
that's
It's millions.
important.
So
That's
it made
important.
$714.6 million at the box office. But with the
Okay,
budget, but it had a budget of, let me look up the budget real quick.
340 million, and it
Yeah.
got a 5.8 out of 10.
And
So the very definition of mid.
that doesn't also add in the marketing budget. So the
Uh-oh.
marketing budget would probably be like, I don't know, another $100 million or
So
so.
they still made, $200-300 million on this movie. So
Yeah. Well, they needed $1 billion just to actually make money back. That's the thing. And
what
so
was it?
it
Ah, well,
it needed like a
it's
billion
okay.
dollars.
5.8 out of 10. I mean, more than half of them are not great reviews.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, this was
The
an
only
absolute cinematic delight, and they gave it a
well
one out of five.
the only movie that made money back with a budget like that was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, yeah, that's because all of them are good.
Well, yeah,
So
but it just shows.
surprisingly,
Yeah, it just shows that it Fast the Furious movies now don't make that much money, at least domestically. It made a ton of money internationally, and so that's where it's mostly being saved. So, but they are saying that Fast 11 will be the final one. I think The Rock is still getting his own movie, with Jason Momoa or whatever. But again. it like sort of circles back to the title that it says no more Jason Momoa. So you're telling me that you had a part one and it ended on a cliffhanger with Jason Momoa winning, and you're gonna do 11 and not have Jason Momoa in it. Now this is just rumors, so this isn't confirmed yet. But if it turns out to be true, it's like, why?
I mean, you said they have the budget. Jason Momoa is a guy that's going to get paid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking at it from a perspective of if I can save millions on an actor and people are going to come see them because they've seen the first 11 quadrillion movies that I've made, then I'm just going to cut him out, save some money, wrap it up with a bow, and then just call it a day.
But
So,
like
because
it doesn't it's like weird, like he was the setup to be this like big villain of 10, 11, maybe 12 if they still want to do that. But the thing
but
is it's like why it's like a movie like Fast X ends in a weird way. It's like, so you're gonna never mention Jason Momoa's character ever again. It's
see, I don't know. I'm not a movie exec, but all I know is that if they can save money, that's what these things do.
they're going, yeah,
I,
they're going to.
it seems to be the same thing with Disney, where we just save some money, write stuff, call it a day, and be, oh, okay. Here's another Marvel show. Here's another Star Wars. Oh, here's this,
Proven
that,
that
blah, blah,
they
blah.
are losing money by doing that, but
Well,
yeah.
hey, this is the reason why Bob Iger's the CEO and not me. So,
I've
although maybe he'll retire, who knows? But that's not a topic on the list,
yeah, that's
but
not.
it is a topic.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked Fast X. I thought it was better than, 9 at least, and 8. I didn't enjoy 8 that much. Like
The last one I liked was 5.
yeah, they should have
So,
stopped after 5 or 7 for the respect of Paul Walker. But no, the movies kept making money. And so I don't know. We'll just have to see and wait. I Hopefully it ends. That's all I can say. Hopefully it ends.
yeah. Well, if not, they can make another terrible ride at Universal Studios. That is
Yeah.
by far the worst ride in Orlando by far, is that. I don't think
Even the one
that
in
and
California is pretty bad.
The King Kong one is bad too. So, but who knows? Like I said, you never know with them. So
Yeah,
I'm just
I've
surprised we're not getting 12 more Transformers movies.
oh
I'm
well, we
waiting to
are.
see who
We
comes out
are.
with more.
That's gonna happen for sure. Like,
Uh,
and there's even talks about, because Brie Larson, I don't like Brie Larson. Also,
uh,
she's won't get into a reason why I don't like her, but I've heard that she wants to do a female lead Fast X spinoff movie. I'm like, okay, so you're just
what
pushing
are
your
they
own
going to call it?
feminist, furious.
You
Yeah,
know, that may actually hit a good audience. So
yeah,
I don't hate the player or the game. I just say, hey, if these
yeah,
studios can make $1 off of something, they're going to do it.
yeah.
So,
Take the title, Universal, please. I don't know. I don't. Why? Again, why? Money, I guess. Brie Larson. I don't know. I don't need. Just stop with the Fast and Furious
I
movies.
mean,
Just end them.
yeah, I think too, some actors just or actresses, actors want to do like different, franchises or do a different thing. You see people that are like, oh, I want to be in a Star Wars movie.
But
And then
they have to.
you get,
But the one that takes me off is like, oh, we want to do a female spinoff and have it female led only. It's like, okay,
I mean, it's like what they did with Ocean's 11, the
yeah, it
female
was bad.
version.
It was bad.
I mean, it was bad because the writing was bad.
Yeah.
They can make women characters kick butt. They
355.
just they just need really, they just need really good writing. So and that's the thing that it boils down to. I don't think people care whether it's male or
No.
female lead or blah blah blah.
But when
Like
they put in
I
their
don't.
statements, though, it's kind of comes off like a,
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is it's like they make it seem like if they take James Bond and make it a woman, it's like
hey, that'd be
James
pretty.
Bond is a
I would
dude.
watch that.
Just make a woman version of James Bond and call it a day. And Jane Bond, I don't know,
Yeah.
like, hello.
Yeah.
You could copyright. I'm copyright,
I don't
but
think
it
the
would be it would be good
yeah.
because you could make a good character. It just has to be well written and really well done. So, um, I don't know. A lot of these franchises, they just lose sight of like, let's just put somebody in here to check a box, and that does nobody any justice, especially
Yeah.
when they're not written well. So,
And well, that's half the time how I see it when someone says, "Oh, we have a female like a female only cast." It's like, are you really just trying to check that box of like
well,
I don't know.
and that's the
It
thing
comes
is, it's
off
like,
that way, especially when the movie comes out to be bad. Like I praise a movie when it's actually good, but then it's like when you fail the objective that you're trying to do as a movie, it's like, were you doing that just for agenda? Yes.
yeah, that's the unfortunate part. But hey, they're gonna get it squared away because they always do.
Yeah.
So,
Movies that should not be made ever or continued ever again is Jurassic World. They're continuing with the
wait, are we
Jurassic World.
skipping around? Where did I get the?
I threw that one in
Oh,
between.
we're throwing in a topic,
Yeah.
people. I'm off
Well,
script. No,
see,
I'm just kidding.
we talked about talking about this one. I just like I don't know where to put this. It works with Universal because we were talking about Furious.
I think
It,
here's the thing. There's always gonna be a love for dinosaurs, right?
I love the first two movies. I enjoy the first Jurassic World movie.
Ew. Oh, I thought you meant the third Jurassic Park is horrible. Like the
Yeah, no,
original third
no,
one,
that doesn't hold up.
bad, very bad. The first and second one, the
But
first one is great.
I would rather watch the uh Jurassic Park 3 over Jurassic World Dominion. That's how much I don't like that one.
Oh wow, you really don't like
I
that
know
movie.
I don't.
So
It nothing that they promised was in that movie.
well, and the thing is they have the technology, right? They have the ability to make it. Like I said, I'm going to go back to Universal and they're making rides. The Velocicoaster is one of the best rides I think I've ever ridden, top three of all time.
Yeah.
And I love rides. And so Universal has the opportunity and ability to like make these things work, and they can make it really, really good. The problem is if all these different companies would release less films and make them better, I'd rather spend a few more bucks on a movie ticket for a better movie.
Hmm.
So that's why, like, when people are like, "Oh, like Christopher Nolan's a perfect example." People are like, "Oh, Oppenheimer's boring," blah 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 blah. Great, fine. You may not like the topic, but the movie is very well produced,
Yeah.
and I saw it numerous times. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
And so that's what these companies need to focus on is if you want to put all your crappy stuff on the streaming platform, great, well, fine, whatever. But like if we're going to come out with a movie that's going to be at the movie theater, it needs to be good and not just, oh, we're going to pluck Chris Pratt and Jason Momoa and Brie Larson and put them in a movie and make them fight dinosaurs. It's like, well, that's a bad. You don't just take famous people, throw them in a movie, and then say it's going to be good.
Yeah. Why do you
So
think that crossover with Jurassic Park and Fast and Furious hasn't happened yet? Because it's stupid. No, I don't want
yeah,
that.
it could have been Fast and T Rexicus or something. I don't know. They
No.
could have it where the cars are flying over
You
dinosaurs.
can have that movie, but don't combine it with Jurassic Park. I like you. I hate when
I
don't
mean,
don't do
I'm
that.
still waiting for the Transformers to face the dinosaurs. They did the dinosaur Transformers, but it was like I was like looking the whole movie. I'm like, what is happening? And
Yeah.
I felt bad because the guy in it was actually pretty okay. He was pretty good. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
but the topic though with the Jurassic World movie, they're bringing back the original screenwriter, David Coep. I think that's how you say his name. He wrote the first Jurassic Park. He wrote the Lost World. So that makes me a little bit feel better about that. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
but
Those are the two
yeah,
better ones. But it's like, what are you gonna do? Like
the question I have.
the one thing I was excited for was dinosaurs roaming the mainland, and next year, like, oh, we took care of that off screen. We brought them to this other island. It's like, oh, okay.
Easy, easy.
Are
They
they gonna
just
do are they
played a
gonna do
button.
yeah? Are they gonna do a prequel between that? Like,
Well, and here's the thing is prequels aren't bad. They can be good. What they need to do is focus on what worked in the first two, but bring it to
suspense
a more
and thriller.
upscaled and technology. in a second too. Yeah, because the whole random. The best thing about that that movie that came out was Jimmy Buffett and the Margaritaville running around with the margaritas.
Uh,
Do you remember that? The first one that came out of the new
oh,
Jurassic World
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So so good. You should go look at it. It's excellent. But no, they'll do a good job. I'm sure they will. And I mean, here's the thing: whether we see it, like it, love it at all, it's gonna make money. It's
Yeah.
Jurassic.
Like
It has the name on it.
there's people that like Dominion, and it's like, oh, you can only like this movie if you're a Jurassic Park fan. It's like, that's a false statement. That's not true at all.
All I know is that they need to have the Jeeps back in it again with
Gee,
the cool colors. Just
I
saying.
mean, if they, one thing I would like is a rated R Jurassic Park movie. I think that could be awesome.
Ooh,
Like, but
that would be
I don't think
interesting.
Spielberg would go for it. I don't know.
Mm. Well, I mean, all it needs is the right director to pitch the right idea. So
Yeah. Like,
could do
so
it.
the article says, like, they have Spielberg coming back to exec produce it. They don't have a director attached to it yet, and they don't know if it's going to have the continuing characters like Chris Pratt, the sequel characters or the original characters coming back or anything. I think you just have to make new characters, especially if you're going to do a prequel between Jurassic World Dominion and Fallen Kingdom, where the dinosaurs, this is what I want, is dinosaurs running the mainland, eating kids and parents while they're at the park. All right, that's what I want.
That sounds very dystopian. So that sounds great. So, and then, there's a crisis of how many dinosaurs.
Yeah, like they say,
And
like,
it's,
oh, they said like 27 people died over the past like year. I'm like, really? Wow,
that's
dinosaurs
it.
roamed. I don't.
Wow. I feel like more die from crocodiles a
Yeah,
year. Don't quote me on that. I have to check the statistic. But
it's just
now we'll see. I'm also excited. There's a few other topics I'm super excited for on here as well. So I don't know which one you want to go to next, but I'm ready to
so
fire them off.
yes, yes, yes. So I have a friend named Shaun Rook. He's been on the channel before. He's done the podcast, of course. He's been a very good friend to the channel and all of that. And so he has a TV show in the works. I don't know that much about it. Anytime I try to ask him about it, he's like, he can't really say that much about it because of like NDAs and all that stuff. But it looks very interesting. I don't know what platform it's going to be on. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description, by the way, guys, because he does do updates on. He does do. Is doing updates about the show. All I really know about it is that it's a cop show. It's a very low budget cop show, and it looks very interesting. He has a partner who, from my understanding, he lost a partner. Hopefully, he's not playing. He is playing a character in the show as well. I'm hoping that isn't that partner where he dies. Hopefully, he's like a new partner. He comes in. It's like, all right, you're gonna have to deal with me as your new partner, and we're gonna through this together, type of deal. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And it looks very interesting. And I want to support smaller stuff. And so originality is kind of dying in Hollywood. So like we need to push more stuff like this out there. Word of mouth is all that is gonna really help everyone out when it comes to starting stuff out like this. Um, but did you check out the playlist I sent you?
Yeah, I did. I clicked on the link and I watched it. Just, disclaimer, I don't know anything as well about this TV show. I was actually very interested and intrigued about the series. I think you said it best is we've seen a lot of like not retreads per se, but we see a lot of writers come up with the same shows and the
or
same idea.
sequels and
Yeah.
yeah.
And so it's nice to see somebody get like additional credit and ability to write and star in a new show. And so it looked very interesting. There's not behind the scenes, but he posts about like making a TV series, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, I don't know as much about him or about how the series will go or what that looks like, but I think it's just a great opportunity to allow, especially with like the writer strike and all the different things going on. It's a great
Yeah.
opportunity to find some different talent and plug and play into the incredible. And here's the thing: there's so much need for streaming content, it seems, that this is a this is a great opportunity for different, platforms to pick up new TV shows.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, if it's super well written and does really well and tracks with people, awesome. Maybe that turns into a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. I mean, I think about Stranger Things all the time of like, yeah, the Duffy brothers wrote,
It started off with 2 good seasons, and next,
yeah,
it's
but it still kept getting seasons because people watch it. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's very interesting. I've been watching stuff on Apple TV, and it's interesting to me, just one, how much budget they have, but two, how well they've been doing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, like, with some love and some good writing and whatnot, what can we bring to fruition. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited for him. I hope he gets what he's looking for.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like with the writer and the actor strike happening, a lot of stuff got delayed. So the 2024 is going to be an interesting year when it comes to movies, shows, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. This is going to be the year where indie stuff will shine. And so I'm going to try to keep up to date with this as much as I can, and try to push this out to get eyes. And I'm really hoping that it's good because I want to support him as much as I can. And so like, and if hopefully it gets a second season and all that, because they found I'm pretty sure they found a company that greenlight the pilot and all that. I don't know how far, again, I don't know how far in production that they are in, but I'm hoping that it works out very well for everyone.
Well,
And
and here's the thing: is getting a pilot's no easy feat. So
not
in order to even get to that point is just a good testament and skill to writing something that
that's a
people
huge
see potential
accomplishment.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I really hope to hear more about it. And I know you'll keep me up to speed. So
Mhm. What do you
uh,
think? Like, what do you think? Like the idea of the show is so far. Like, what in your head are you expecting?
so I'm expecting a lot of I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. I'm expecting a lot of reminiscing. So, how, like, a character, where did they come from? It
Hmm.
seems like it's going to focus on what built to this moment, or what unifies people. Because we're talking about losing somebody that's close on the force, right?
Yeah.
And so I think of it from a perspective of what is the struggle? What does that look like? How do you move forward from that? Because a lot of TV shows, it starts out with like, oh, the young gun cop, and oh, they're gonna, become the big one, the big hot shot. 3 seasons in, they lose, blah blah partner or somebody who's twice removed, the sergeant, blah, and then this happens and they go through it, and then they become the hot shot, and then right here, what I love is that it starts from a perspective of like, it felt like how we got here.
Yeah.
The scene where he's like driving in the car and whatnot, and one, there was a lot of gunfire. I want to know how many bullets we had to use. No, I'm just kidding. But it's very interesting to see. And I could be totally off base. I would be interested to see what other people have to say about it. But I just think that would be interesting. That's something that I would feel comfortable watching, and I think that I would be really intrigued by.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure. Like again, it is on the lower budget side, so it might not have like the highest quality of like Disney Plus or anything like that. But we all start from somewhere, and and like we've all give movies and TV shows crap of like, oh wow, this looks like crap. Like what are these special effects? But there are also other things that combined it. Like I can forgive certain stuff in a movie or TV show if everything else around it supports it. So it all comes,
well, and here's the thing. Everybody always goes, "Oh, I want it to be Avatar, the blue people."
yeah,
It's like not everything's going to have the production value and hundreds of millions of dollars of people. And so that's the good thing, is that if you have a good story and people latch onto it, that's where you get funding to continue, building a story out. So,
yeah.
I mean, if you go look at The Office, look at the first few episodes.
Oh yeah,
They
those were
weren't
bad.
very,
Oh
very
no.
developed. They weren't great, but
But then they
it
got a
caught
second
on.
season, and it became a hit. It became
Yeah.
so
And
yeah,
now Steve Carell, I feel like, is in like, he was in the
everything.
morning show. He did really well in that. He was in Dan in Real Life, which I really
Despicable
liked.
Me.
Yeah. And
Like
so, it's just one of those things where it's like, where do we see these people? So I don't know. But
Well, yeah, we'll keep you guys up to date on that one. Maybe try to ask him more questions about it, but most likely he's not going to give me that much stuff on it.
yeah, I
Um,
want to hear. Ask him.
next topic is an interesting topic for me. I'm really excited for this. Is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle? It's coming out on Xbox. The problem is I got to get it at Xbox. Um, so
I'm
terrible
way ahead
title,
of
by
you.
the
I'll let
way.
you know how it is.
Terrible title. I don't like this title, to be honest. And they explain it like every Indiana Jones thing. They try to explain why the tower is the way it is. It's like, oh, it all has a reason. Like if you draw a line around the earth and all around these like important items, they all become a circle. It's like, okay, cool, all right.
See, that makes
But
sense to me. You got me. No, I'm just kidding. So
it's also voiced by Troy Baker, who does an amazing impression of Harrison Ford. I don't know why they didn't get him to voice the younger Harrison Ford in Dial to Destiny. One of my biggest gripes in that movie is that movie I liked, but my biggest gripes that they have 80-year-old Harrison Ford playing his younger himself while he sounds 80 years old. And so I don't know, they could have gotten a
Harrison
voice.
just doesn't age. I love Harrison.
Yeah.
I just can't let him land planes like he
Mm,
landed, I think, on the taxiway at the airport. But he's a great actor, and I felt like he was in every 80s and 90s movie ever.
oh
Patriot
no.
Games, love it.
Mm.
So no, I think in terms of games and whatnot, the fact that Indiana Jones didn't get more love over video games over time, I mean,
There's a
you're thinking
couple.
it could have been like an Uncharted meets like open world Fable or something.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much potential for these games, and so I saw the graphics. I saw like
It
the
looks pretty
different stuff
good.
going on. It does look really good, and it's
Pe-
it's a long time coming.
the
So
biggest gripe I'm hearing from people is that it's in first person. Like it's a nitpick for me, but I wouldn't say like, oh, why is it in first person? Like, ugh.
yeah,
And so it's
well,
like
I think a lot of people want to see the
indie. No,
perspective
yeah,
of the third person. Yeah, and
as long as the gameplay works for it being in first person, I'm happy.
yeah,
Like, but
yeah.
I don't know. I have to be like the point. How dare you make it first person? It's like, oh, okay, just go over
I'm
there.
not going to gripe about it. The fact that we're getting an Indiana Jones game that looks pretty good,
Yeah.
even if the title
It's
looks lame,
even it's
is
from
pretty exciting.
Bethesda, which is well, actually they're not they're licensed. I think they're licensing it or producing it. I forget what they're doing, but it's made by someone else, like Machine Games or something. But
I mean, for
Bethesda
all you
hasn't.
know, it could. What if it's the game of the year?
I
So
mean, I hope it is. I really like Indiana Jones, and I want to play it, and I want to cover it on the channel. That's one thing I want to do is cover more games on the channel. But the problem is playing games take forever, and it's a
yeah,
different type of review than a movie. So
well, and you don't know what to expect because if you play the level, learn about it, then want to talk about it, then you have to go back and
yeah,
play the
you
level to
literally
show
have to
people.
remember it. It's like it's whole.
That's why you just play Lego everything.
Yeah, I'll
Lego
I'll
Batman,
I'll,
Lego Star
I'll
Wars,
play the Lego
Lego
Indiana.
Indiana Jones.
I'll play Lego and Indiana Jones, and I'll call it that review. It's like here's the brand new.
Such a good, such good shit.
So yeah,
Love that game.
I'm curious where it's
Good.
going to go with it. Troy Baker, I like. He played Nathan. No, he didn't play Nathan Drake. He played Joel, but he was in the Uncharted games. He played Nathan Drake's brother. And so he's a very good actor.
It'll be
Lot.
good. Uh, So I don't know. It'll be interesting. And speaking of which, video games.
Ah,
I think
yes,
that I think that sets us up pretty well for the next topic too about on Until Dawn getting a
yes.
movie.
I liked Until Dawn as the game. Like, have you played? Did you play Until Dawn?
It's a horror genre game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more of a choice-based game. It's more so it's not really a lot of people don't really call it a game. It's more like a movie experience where you're going around, you're making these choices, and next these events turn out. So it's going to be an interesting way of like, okay, so what's going to be canon because of all the different choices you can make in this game? Like, what are they going to do with the movie? And I'm assuming that it's going to be produced like it's going to do like the PlayStation logo and all that. I'm pretty sure PlayStation is going to promote it and all of that since it's a
Kind of like
place.
Gran Turismo or whatever.
Yeah, and Uncharted. Gran Turismo is actually a good movie. I don't know if you saw it. It's actually pretty
I
good.
the scene. Well, I'm not going to spoil it if people didn't see it. But the scene where the car does the
Yeah, Like a
Line,
very
it looks exactly like the real thing.
yeah.
So I was impressed. But no, I think, the idea of a choice-based game getting turned into a horror movie, I think horror needs a revamp
Yeah.
because what happens is they get the same like like the jump scares and you're like another Annabelle, another Exorcist, another Conjuring 12.11D7. You walk through and it feels like the same movies.
Well, and we've gotten and games lately have been getting a lot of adaptations, like with The Last of Us, and that's another topic we'll get into. But we had Five Nights at Freddy's last year, which was terrible. I
Oh, I
hated
thought
that movie.
it was terribly bad.
Yeah, terribly bad. Like and so I don't know. And next when we dive a little bit more into this, it makes me a little bit worried of what they're gonna do. I don't know if we're gonna get this movie this year. I think we could because like if you guys don't know what Until Dawn is, it's sort of a slasher, but then it hints at more of a supernatural thing. That's all I'm gonna really say about it. If you guys don't know much about Until Dawn,
Play the
but
game.
yeah,
Play the game.
play the game. It's a very fun game, I'll say that. But the people that they have attached to it, I'm a little worried about. The director, not so much. I like the director, David F. Sandberg. He did like the first Shazam, which was pretty good. I like the first Shazam movie.
See, I thought that was entertaining.
Yeah.
So
The
I'm
second
telling
one
you,
was
give these people video game. I don't know why more people don't buy book rights and make them into movies.
yeah.
So there's
Um
so many good books out there. Trust me, I read what 60, 64, 65 books last year, trying to finish 75 this year.
what the
There's good books out there. These companies need to start buying up these rights. So
Yeah, like and so he's done a little bit of horror stuff, like, one's at least more known for. He did Annabelle Creation, which is a pretty good horror film. I like that one. It's better than the first Annabelle, and definitely better than the third one. But it's when it comes to the screenwriter I'm a little worried about, and you will see why. I'm just gonna name a couple of stuff off that you might know. All
okay.
right,
All right,
so
all right.
Blood Monkey, Swamp Devil. Actually, sorry, no one knows about those. Those are terrible. Let me go. Anna. There we go. The first Annabelle Creations, again, pretty good. He did It Chapter 2, Annabelle Comes Home, terrible. The Nun, terrible. Couple of episodes of Swamp Thing, okay, fair enough. And next, The Nun 2. If
Oh, he has none business making
yeah,
movies. I'm just kidding.
see, like if you look at the
Jokes.
balance, the bad weights out the good. So it's like I don't
He
know,
just
like
needs a banger. He just needs a good
I
one.
mean, like
I'm just kidding.
it can come out and be great. We don't know. Like, but
That's true.
just from what I know and from what I've seen from this writer, I have not liked most of his stuff. And
Yeah.
so I don't like you I don't know, you can do so many different choices with the movie and take it in so many different routes from the game and it can turn out to be good. But from my
Yeah.
understanding, they do want to make it R, so that's a big positive thing for me. Is like horror, I like when it's R, especially when you're going to do a video game like Until Dawn. You're going to need the high quality horror
Yeah,
version.
just a little bit of a push into that direction.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big rated R movie fan just in general, but from the perspective of if that's the audience you're trying to reach, I think it
then do
makes
it.
sense to
Yeah.
make it. Yeah. So, well, I think we'll just have to see. Um, yeah, I think we'll just have to see. Honestly, I haven't played the game in terms of it, but I've seen it
Yeah.
and I've like seen reviews on it. So, also, oh goodness, I'm these next three topics. My
Oh
goodness,
yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
this one is I haven't sent you the order of this one, but this is another
ooh,
game topic. The
ooh, I like it.
Last of Us season 2 cast. So Last of Us, the first season was pretty good. I didn't love it like most people. I'm like, I'd rather play the games. Um,
Which is weird because you're a big fan
I'm a big
of.
fan of The Last of Us. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
it's
okay.
my number one game of all time. Like I really like this game. I even bought The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which came out recently. Even though a lot of people are like, why would you buy that? It's only a 3-year-old game. Well, you know what? I like having it sit next to my PS5 version of The Last of Us. Okay, let me spend my $60 on what I want to spend. Okay. If you can spend money to go see Five Nights at Freddy's, that's your choice.
See, if you can go see Disney movies, you can go see that movie
Yeah,
or that TV show.
no one's judging but you. But yeah, the cast that they came out for have you got a chance to check out the cast for the second
See,
season?
I did not look, but I do know that the first season was pretty star-studded in terms of, and I think, did somebody win an award? Didn't they win an award at one of the uh,
Um,
uh didn't the
I think
supporting actress win an award, I
I
thought?
think so. I didn't pay attention to the global awards or any of that type of stuff. I don't. Global awards are iffy to me. I'm waiting for the Oscars. That's where I pay
I
attention.
thought, didn't they just have the Oscars?
No, the Oscars happen in March, which
Oh,
stick around if you guys want to be part of that channel more, stick around till subscribe because in March
oh,
we're gonna do a live stream of the Oscars. So
see,
be
it could have been the Golden Globes that I was
yeah,
watching.
you're thinking of the Golden Globes. That's yeah. I know who you're talking about. I forget the name. But so but the season 2 of The Last of Us is going to be interesting because they're going to split the second game into 2 seasons. So it's like, okay, what are they going to? I'm not going to spoil the second game. You know the outcome in the second game, do you?
It's really interesting. I've never played them at all,
You never
but I
played any.
watched the TV.
You watched the
No,
TV show.
but I watched the TV show,
I'm
and so
curious.
I don't know what's coming in the
What
second.
what is like? What would you rate this first season out of like a 10, like 1 to 10?
See, here's the thing. I don't know anything about the game, so I think I would be more in tune to make it higher. I
Okay.
think I would probably give it like a 7.5 to 8. I
I
thought it
actually
was,
okay. I gave it a B plus, so we're in the same range. Like even
yeah, I thought it was entertaining.
yeah,
I really did. Oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his name? I don't know why
Pedro
I'm having
Pascal.
such a. Thank you.
Yeah,
He is excellent. I
he's
think
really
he
good.
he shows a lot of depth in his ability to play different characters.
It's just
So
it comes down to the writing, really. That like for a zombie show, there weren't very many zombies, and like there's definitely bits where they felt rush. Like
there were more zombies than The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead
what
turned
do you
into
mean?
like.
The Walking Dead had way more zombies.
I'm just kidding. It was a joke. The
Oh,
Walking
okay,
Dead has turned into like
it's
everybody being like
it
drama.
Yeah, The Walking
Stab
Dead
this person in the
is trying to
back.
do its own like Avengers Endgame. There's talks of like all these spin-off shows that they're doing now since the main show is done. They want to all come it together, and so it comes to one season where it's like the Avengers
See,
Endgame.
doing too much, doing too
Yeah,
much.
I'm for.
I used to love The Walking Dead, and then it was like I used to watch it I think it was Wednesday night at 9.
Oh yeah,
Don't quote me on that. I think it was 9, and it was great.
it
On
was.
AMC,
I
you get your
started losing interest
popcorn.
when Rick left the show.
Yeah, I didn't. I lost interest really after the mom passed away, and then Carl got shot in the
I
eye or
hate
whatever.
Lori. I don't like her at all. Which, by the way, guys, we are doing a watch series on the channel with Cliff. We're at The Walking Dead. We have 3 episodes. Well, when this podcast goes up, we have 4 episodes. We're starting from season 1 all the way. We're gonna watch it all the way through. So,
Oh
but
my goodness, I will be praying for you because I don't know how you
I mean
can do it.
I've seen it before. He hasn't really he's seen the first season, but he hasn't seen anything after that. And I've always wanted to rewatch it from the beginning. So it's fun. It's been fun so far. Um
Yeah.
but people don't like when you say at least one negative thing. If you say one like people are like, "Oh, yeah, I'm glad that you're watching this." But then you say one negative thing, it's like, "Ah, fuck you." It's like, "Oh, sorry."
There's the one F word that you can use for the
Yes,
T or for the
it's PG-13.
before we.
I only get one F
Oh
bomb.
my goodness. See,
But
I have to be careful. I'm gonna say I'll let you reserve the rights for those.
yeah,
So
I understand if you can't say it. But
yeah.
trying to revert back to the casting. The casting is really seems very good. They got the girl from Booksmart. I don't know if you know the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Okay.
let me look Caitlin Dever. I think that's a Deber.
Is it Divert? Yeah, okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
know who you're talking about.
she's
That's an
playing.
interesting casting.
Yeah, she's playing the role for Abby, who is a huge part role in the second game. Again, I won't
Is
get
that the
into.
one a lot of people don't like? Or that
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
ah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Uh,
know what? I like her, so maybe
yeah.
she'll make the character more
Well,
likable.
the thing is,
Could be
I'm
good.
like, I'm looking at this actress, and like I've seen her in other things, but I'm like, Abby's a big buff character in the game. So it's like, is she gonna buff up, or are they gonna do a thing where they're gonna split again, they're gonna split the game into two different seasons. Are they gonna use season two a way to make people like Abby and
Ooh.
next build it up into the technically the second game into the third season. I think that's what they're gonna want to do, and also save Pedro Pascal for another season. And so
I mean, they would be smart to do so. I mean, Pedro Pascal has been in some really good stuff.
yeah,
And so I know we're going to talk about Mando here later, but no, I think there's definitely potential. I think she's a great actress and she'll do a good job. I think the hard part is getting people's stigma of not liking or disliking a character and then making them like her. That's the problem that you're going to have right there.
yeah. So
So,
like that's one thing that people said a lot. It's like they should have really had a game before The Last of Us 2 to have us care for Abby. But the first scene that we saw her with, it's like, no, I don't like you. And
is that the one? Is that the one where she kills a major character?
yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. That's spoilers.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I
but
do know that.
yeah, okay, you do
So,
know that. Yeah, so
yeah.
I feel like they want to draw that point out. They want to draw that as much as they can out for multiple reasons.
Well, here's the thing though. That builds rise into because there's two ways to get people to buy in. They love the main character or hey, they hate the antagonist.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get people in. So,
And it'll build something new for the people that that have played the games. Like it'll keep people
see,
hooked. But if they go with
I
like
agree.
the beat by beat, like, oh, this is how the game went, we're gonna keep it like that. And it's just like, well, then you're gonna lose it. You're gonna have people that played the game that didn't like it and lose interest in watching the show.
And that's the thing is you have to build interest into these shows. I think a lot of the times what happens is we create characters of what we want in our head,
Yeah.
and the problem is that that's not always the way that that works. And
Uh,
so I think sometimes we have I want to say struggles, but people struggle with I don't know,
Not
people
like
struggle
taking
with these
risks.
characters.
Taking risks.
Yes. Well, they've preconditioned themselves to like a character a certain way.
Yeah.
And then when the character comes in, um,
It's not
yeah.
like with the way the outcome happens, I don't have a problem with. I have the problem with the believability. And it comes down to the writing. And it's like if you have to have prison, you have to have like you have to believe like, oh, these characters figured out where this person is. You got to figure out like, okay, I got to buy this character, giving out a character's name for this character to know like, oh, that's that character, so then I got to go for that character. There's so many different reasons behind it. So it really comes down to the writing, and the second game really really feels like a shock factor than a suspense. So like there's a lot of moments like, oh, gotcha type of deal, instead of building it up to be something. So I'm hoping
Well,
that they build it up to something instead of being a shock factor and have more zombies. So
I mean, part of the whole show is the zombies.
yeah.
So it makes sense that they would put more zombies in the zombie show. Or well, at least I hope. I mean, if not, we're that's like having a Star Wars movie without Star Wars characters. So
Yeah.
that would be
Well,
very interesting.
and so we have cast members also for other major characters, for like Jesse, they're who the person they cast is young Mazzino. I think I've heard of him. I don't know how to say his last name, to be honest. Um I don't know what I've seen him from, but he has a familiar face. And next, Dina, who's a big secondary character in the second game, who was played by Isabel Merced. Again, don't know how to say last names. I don't know that much about her. I don't know if they say much about what she's been in. Um, not from what I'm seeing. So it's an interesting cast though. But
Yeah,
they are looking at like they're casting like the younger side of people. So I think that's why I think they're going to go from like a sort of a prequel route with at least with the second game and build it up to something, which I hope they do because then that will give us more reasons to attach to the characters. And like I hope that they change some story bits and make it work and you can still have the same game as it is, but have the second season be completely different and lead up to the second game.
yeah. I mean,
And it'll give you more
I
time.
could see it. That would be so much better.
Yeah.
You're right.
And it
So
and they will give it more time for Naughty Dog to work on the third game. So then you have more seasons with the third game that comes out. At least that's how I hope. It's been a bit since it's only been 3 years. I'm assuming before season three comes out, we'll have the third game. I would assume so because that's like it's a big like this show is doing really well. The Last of Us is huge right now, so I feel like they want to keep that train going. Because we're not going to get the second season until next year. They're not going to start filming until like late
really,
the late this year, and so I would assume that we won't get the third game until I'd like to say 27, 26 before PS6 comes out.
oh, okay. Wait, when is that?
When's what? PS6? I would assume that
Yeah,
the PS6 will come out 27, 28 because it's usually like a console lifespan is like 7 to 8 years. So I would assume that we would get the third game on the new PS5 console, the next gen console before the next gen. So
that's crazy to me. It feels like everything's moving so fast in
it,
terms of consoles.
yeah, like games is like it's a strange time when it comes to content, like digital and all that. Xbox wants to like Xbox apparently is working on a digital only console. It's ridiculous. It's I've actually heard
I thought they already had that
they
with
do,
the
but I
Series
think that
X.
but it doesn't it's not like a full on quality like the X
Uh,
is. But I don't know. It's I'm hoping that they can pull it off with the second season though.
they'll figure it out. They always. I feel like these places always do for the most part.
Hmm.
So
So the next topic is this one something you want to mention? It's the Canon situation, the on Disney
yeah.
Plus.
So here's the thing, right? We're mentioning that Daredevil is now canon, which originally was what, a Netflix show.
Yeah. I
So
I feel like half people that watched it's like, no, it's always canon. We don't.
I is I, I I struggle with Disney, and I'll tell you why. They have taken things. There's stuff that Disney has done by Disney that they've said isn't canon. A good example is Star Wars books. Um, so one of my favorite Star Wars books is Ahsoka by E.K. E.K. Johnson. I apologize if I said the name incorrect. And like there's a whole Maul Mandalore fight scene with Ahsoka, not even close to the same thing. It's terrible. And that was a book that was commissioned by Disney.
Disney.
And so when Disney
Did they
says,
retcon
"Oh,
it?
this is now," yeah, they did.
Oh my
Now
gosh.
when Disney goes, "Oh, we're gonna, this Daredevil is, canon,"
Hmm.
I always kind of cringe because what does canon actually mean?
Yeah,
Is
and
it
that
canon? Yeah,
and that's the one thing that this article mentions that they're going to pick and choose what they think should be canon.
yeah. That's a problem. I
Yeah.
feel like that's where you get like half written stuff that you're like,
Well, it's also
so
what does that say what they're like do you not know what you're doing with the IPs? Cuz Daredevil, first of all, Daredevil Born Again is in a big like hole right now. It's being reshot, it's being rewritten. Like they were planning on being like 27 or 28 episodes and I've heard recently that it's going to be a lot shorter. So I'm assuming that it's going to be down to like
See,
12
I don't
episodes.
mind if it's shorter
Well, it's
as
not,
long as the episodes are good.
yeah, but
It's not a
for them
matter
to
of
scrap the whole entire show to say,
sometimes the writing's just bad.
yeah,
Sometimes you just have to file it.
yeah, and now to come out to say like, oh no, Daredevil's been is canon. It's like, oh, so you really are trying now, like, just throw away the whole idea, throw away the whole show, or let's just start back from square one, but we'll at least start from something. That's telling me. It's like they don't know what they want to do with Daredevil, because Daredevil is also just popping in and everything else. It's like he pops in a few seconds in Echo. It's like, hey, I'm here still. Don't worry, my show's.
Did you
I've
did
only
you
watched the
watch Echo?
I've only watched the first episode. I can't. I like that first episode was bad. Like,
I I didn't think it was terrible. I could not get into it. I just I don't know what it is, and I
like
feel so bad
see, the thing is
because
about that show is like the Hawkeye, like her storyline and Hawkeye should have been this show. But now, from my understanding, they're setting up like an Elseworld thing. Am I right?
it was I the whole thing was like, what is happening?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I feel bad for the actor though. Like she's actually deaf and all that, and she seems like she can give a good performance, but I don't know what they're doing.
I just yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It was not what
Uh,
I thought it was.
no. So
So yeah.
yeah, we're in a rough spot with Marvel and Disney. So that says a lot about like, does that mean like the other shows are canon, like Luke Cage, Punisher, is it just called Jessica? I don't remember her show. Um,
No, it's
but
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why I'm not a big it's been really difficult for me to be like, woo, I love this. It's
yeah.
been like, no,
But
that
now
was bad.
now it also comes down to on their shoulders. Like if they mess up this show, it's like, oh great, now I can't look at the Netflix Daredevil show anymore because you messed up in this, and because now you said it's canon and you messed up. So it's like there's a lot of mixed baggage that can come with this, um, if they don't pull it off. It's
Yeah, and that's the problem that you're gonna see is is it good? And are they gonna do any justice to any of the stuff moving forward? And I don't think so, at least from what I've seen. So there's a reason why it feels like Marvel just hasn't been making as much money. And I think Disney started to notice that. So, I mean, I think Echo's character is great, but the fact that we're getting an Echo TV show, excuse me, before we're getting other characters is almost like,
it's like this
or
is what
like
we're
another Hulk movie. Why didn't
yeah.
we get another Hulk movie instead or something? I don't know.
Well, there's talks of a Hulk movie, but that's also owned by Universal, so that's a whole different like ordeal. Sony's been messing up their freaking movies, and there's talks of that Sony's gonna try to combine their air quotes, Spider-Verse with Marvel. It's like, why'd you not do that in the first place? And it's like, I don't know, the whole MCU is just collapsing on itself, and it's, they had a good run. I think it's time for it to come to an end at some point. As much as it is a money maker, things do end at some point. Um, Speaking of things ending, and Andor season 2 is done filming. At least that now it is. The article that I have here, they were still in filming, and they had like a week left. Did you like Andor? Did you like the first season of Andor?
So here's the thing that I didn't like. It felt so low. I think it brought up good points. I was trying to bring up if I could see. Um, I'm just trying to think of a good way to put it. I feel like it did a good job of broaching the topic of like politics.
Oh yes.
How there's two factions. Are they both good? Are either of them good? And I think in some cases it made the case that they're not. And so It wasn't a bad TV show. It was visually stunning, fantastic
Probably the
TV
best thing
show
that
in
Disney
terms of,
put out.
yeah, cinematic
So
or cinematography wise, excellent. Acting was very good. It wasn't focused on Jedi, and it didn't feel like Star Wars, but it was a really good TV show,
yeah,
and in a good way, in a good
yeah.
way. Now, as for season two, that's where I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, so
So,
it's season 2 is supposed to be the final season for the show, which is very interesting because they even mention like there's going to be a lot of time jumping in this show to lead up
uh,
to the events of
yeah,
Rogue One. And I'm like, that's where you lost me. I'm like, you couldn't drag this out, like not drag it out, but like tell a more of an interesting story and like lead like do it each season like of like a year of it being lead up to Rogue One because that's what made me interested because like the character Andor character is a very good like interesting character. He is a character that you can relate to of like he's not a perfect person. He does the things that he needs to do because he has to. And so that's what makes him an interesting character. He's a very conflicted character. And so I'm curious if it comes down to these time jumps that they're going to do in this show. Now, again, is it going to be like how many episodes did the first season have? Like six? I forget how many episodes they
oh,
had.
wasn't it eight? What
Eight.
wasn't it? Was
If
it
it's
eight?
if it's going to be the same amount of episodes, that's going to feel very rush. And so
Here, I mean, it depends on. Let's see, TV series. One second, I'll let you know.
I don't know.
So there were 10 episodes.
10 episodes. Okay.
Wow. Wait, really?
What?
Wow. Okay.
If even would 10 episodes still feel like it's being rushed if they're doing this time jump thing? I don't know. Like, I mean, if it's written well enough, maybe it can work. But I think they could give it to the four more
Nope.
episodes.
There was 12. There were 12
12?
episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
All right.
9.1, 8.4, 9.4 out of 10, 8.5, 8.1, 8.0, 9.1, 7.5, 7.8, 8.5, 7.3, 7.3. So, I mean, overall, this series did a really good job of getting people
Mhm.
like,
I know it has like high numbers when it comes to ratings, but it was very low on viewership. I know that. Not a lot of people watched it.
well, it's a lot of people wanted
Jedi's and
shoot,
all
shoot, pew,
that.
pew, Jedi, Jedi. Yeah. But the hard part is that it, it, you can't be you can't be a fan and just be like, oh, I just want a Jedi this. I just wanted that. You're disregarding an entire universe. I mean,
Yeah.
if there was a TV show that was solely devoted around Leia,
People will
which
watch
seems
it.
like Obi-Wan, I think
Yeah.
people would. So, um,
I don't know, like again, like the cliffhanger with it building the Death Star, I was like, oh, okay, cool, sweet. Or like it's like, all right, we're a lot closer to the events of Rogue One than we thought we were. And so I don't know. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with it, or if we're going to see any time lapping, like between like oh, like like with the Clone Wars, like oh, we're now in the Revenge of the Sith era. Like it's like you can add up the like you can literally put the timelines next to each other and they make sense. I'm curious if they're going to do anything like that, or they're going to try to hide away, keep them away from any of that stuff. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I like the first season a lot. Um, but again, they messed up one of the characters I really liked in that show, the female lead in that show. I forget her name. The one that's sort of like undercover-ish. I can't remember the character's name. Um, but she was in Ahsoka, and she just became an idiot in that show.
I think we're ending on a really good note. So let's bring it home.
Mm,
Mandalorian movie and the
yes,
Ray movie being delayed. Well, one,
yes,
first off, Daisy Ridley got done dirty with the really, really bad writing of
she's a
Star
good
Wars.
actor.
Yes, that was just bad.
Yeah,
And so I'm excited that Ray gets an opportunity at new or
maybe.
fresh.
But you want to hear about the two scripts that they read first that they have written. They don't know if
No,
they're still working
you're
on the
gonna ruin
script.
it. You're gonna ruin it
I'm
for
going to
me.
tell you.
You're
I'm
gonna
going to
ruin
tell you
it.
the ideas that they had. So one of them, though, I'll save the best one for last. At least air quote best one. The first one they had in mind was bringing back Plagueis the Wise. I was like, really? Are they gonna?
I guess so wise.
Yeah, it's like you could. I like that makes more sense if Snoke was Plagueis or something on that lines. But no, now you're gonna. Why does everything have to connect back to everything? Like why? It's like
Because
I don't know. And the other one was I'm gonna have Kylo Ren make a baby with Rey when he's dead.
what?
I
Oh,
so
Disney. Disney. Let me
yeah.
write it.
Both and
Okay.
both and
We're
both and
Kathleen.
the both of the scripts though have some form of common of with it being Rey's kids or form of like a young Jedi because it's going to be about her building the order. And so, but both of these sound terrible. I this is why I'm like we either jump 5,000 years in the future away from the Skywalker saga and all of that, or we jump 5,000 years in the past. I know that we're supposed to get like a First Jedi Order movie with like Mangle. I know that we're supposed to be like getting that.
The
Um,
Coder, Knights of
yeah,
the Old Republic should
yeah.
also be.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But no, I'm excited. Mandalorian movie, hit or miss for me. I think hear me out.
hmm.
Oh, they've just been milking the Mandalorian cow to
Well, yeah,
get as much money. I just, I don't know. I'd rather have like fewer, better content than just let's keep popping out shows. The one that still kills me is Boba Fett, the whole
yeah,
chase scene with those bikes.
yeah.
Wow,
So
that just,
that was
wow.
bad. Well, see, the thing is, this brought up the question of like, are they going to still do Mandalorian season 4? And now there's more thoughts going out there about um that season 4 won't happen. And so like if the movie does well, they're gonna just continue the story in movies, which that's what they should do because if they just do this one movie and if they still do season 4, it just seems like that they are trying to promote Disney Plus at that point. And it's like, hey,
Yeah, but they've always done that.
you want to see you want to know what happens, you got to go buy Disney Plus so you can understand the story. It's like screw you.
Buy
Um,
Disney Plus, everybody.
yeah.
This is a Disney Plus. We are owned by Disney. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. What makes me feel
Yeah.
better though is that it's going to be directed by John Favreau, who has done he's what
He's great.
yeah, he did the first Iron Man. I like him. And he did and whatever episodes he did in The Mandalorian, have enjoyed. Anything that Dave Filoni did, I'm like, I don't care. Um,
I just like John Favreau because he's in all the Spider-Man movies.
he's a
Bro,
good
just
writer. He's a good director and
happy.
writer. He does
Yeah.
he the only thing I actually don't like from him is the Lion King remake. That's the only thing.
Oh
And
gosh.
that's not
Yeah,
really
that's
necessarily his fault. He did whatever he could with that. But that's his name that he's attached to at least. Um,
yeah. Uh-huh.
so a lot of interesting things can happen with this movie. And it also brings up the question of like, what about the Mandoverse movie where like, all the shows are coming together and they're gonna fight Thrawn and all that. Like, so that was a movie that was going to happen. Is this going to be a movie that leads up to that movie? So then they can get people that have not seen the shows on board on going to see that movie. Because like the Lucasfilm is in a
That's the way to
mess.
do it.
Like, because they said like, oh, Daisy Ridley is going to be the first movie that you're going to see. Oh, but no, really, now it's going to be the Mandalorian movie. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, Lucasfilm doesn't know.
They're gonna figure it out. You just wait. They always do. If not, they'll just have to retread and add a new Death Star
Yeah,
and
no
have
more
it
Death
blow
Stars.
up.
Ah,
You know,
gosh,
we need like four more. So
that's
if we get a
that,
few more Death Stars,
I just don't know why we're stuck in this one time period. Like, why can we not spread out, go away from like the reason why it feels so messy because they compact it in all this one and short time period. Like literally, you will have only 40 years between the original trilogy and the new and the sequels. Like you only have 40 years of what you can work, and they really want to make that stuff work, and it comes off messy, and it's
Yeah,
not working. I don't.
yeah. I'm excited to see what they
I'm
do with that.
curious. I'm curious what they want to do, but I don't know. That's any thoughts on that? I don't know.
Honestly, some of these things we just have to wait to see what happens.
I
So
guess.
it's just going to be one of those things where it's like you trust the writers and the content creators to make good stuff, and sometimes it is not good, but it's always a great topic for us because
Yeah.
whether it's good or not,
Either way,
we're going to be talking
we're
about it.
going to be talking about and getting those views. Oh yes. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is all we have to talk today. 12 topics, more than we planned on talking. I don't know how long we've recorded for. Hopefully you guys stayed through the whole entire thing. I
See, it's like
appreciate
the
it.
12 days of Christmas.
Yes.
It got better and better as we go.
Yeah.
I think we should also take topic requests too. So if people
Yes.
see it and they want to comment, drop a
So
topic below.
yeah, so like if you see anything happen in February, because again, these are gonna be monthly reviews. They're gonna drop at the end the month on every Monday. So if you see a topic throughout the month, let me know. I don't know. I might just tag me on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter. Tag me when you see something like, oh, you should talk about this, and we'll try to make it work on the stuff of how many topics we can talk about. So
And
yeah, was
for
it?
how many topics it is, I'll walk a mile.
Yeah,
So
well,
let people, I'll walk for a long time. Hopefully, you didn't hear the walk pad in the
yeah,
background.
he was. Yeah,
School buddy getting the steps.
we'll get that. We'll get his steps in before the next one. But yeah, thank you guys very much for joining us. If you guys were listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you very much for being a part of it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Like us, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.